Ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the end of the Battlebot season, I just want to say a massive, massive round of applause for everybody involved in Battlebots, from the competitors to the crew, for creating what very well may be the greatest episode of robot combat ever seen in the sport. Welcome back to the slowest growing Battlebots podcast in all of creation, covering the grand final in this case. I am never popular host Jack Finney, and across from me on the other side of the world is a man whose passion for Battlebots is rivaled only by his passion for Eevee plushes, Mr. Makon. How you doing today, buddy?
I haven't bought a Pokemon Plus in a while. I don't actually.
Okay, so Battlebots outweighing your passion for plushes now?
At the moment, yeah. At least for it's probably gonna balance out again. Now that the season's ended, but yeah.
They need to make more widely available merch, don't they? Or at least available to you down in Australia.
Yeah, exactly. Give me fucking give me Soul Blaze pluses. Give me a huge plus. Give me a huge anime figure.
Oh wow. Wow, that's actually a really, really good idea.
Right?
A huge plush would be awesome.
Yeah, make it a life-size plus, yeah. It has to come in three separate boxes.
That would be something, wouldn't it?
Oh no, even better. They make them different, or just a range of different sizes. You have a really small one that you can put on your fucking desk somewhere. Just I guess a smaller one that you fucking just put anywhere. Just a massive one, an actual life-size one. There you go. You have Jonathan. You have merch ideas now. Go ahead. Give me
I mean, you can already get the eyes, and
true.
You can get hats with the eyes on, for example, as well.
True. The sky's the limit for you.
Well, I mean, after all, as he says later on in the episode, just a little huge in the big city doing its best.
Exactly, and yeah,
that's an iconic line, by the way.
It is. He is such a cool guy.
Absolutely, as we will see later in the episode. But let's not spoil too many things right now. We've got a lot of stuff to cover, such as the very early on knockout of the night and one of the best fights that we've ever seen, a massive rematch to kick off the show, Sawblaze versus Minotaur.
This match was fire. Literal fire.
Oh yes, it was just Sawblaze blazing their way all the way to the next round, with Minotaur putting up one of the best fight backs we've ever seen. This was what I would describe as an intense repeat of their previous match against each other, this time on steroids.
Oh, hell yeah.
It was, oh my god.
Good, they beat the shit out of each other.
Absolutely. This was neck and neck as well. Big hits to kick off, but it's a masterful driving display by Jameson Go that gains him the advantage early on and puts him in firm control. And there was an absolutely fantastic surgical hit right at the back of Minotaur that caused the lithium polymer batteries to go into a blazing inferno. And oh man, when that happened, Mac, we just completely lost it, didn't we?
Oh hell yeah! I think it was actually the hit to the underbelly that actually caused the fire.
Yeah, to the back and the underbelly at the same time. I believe it was.
Yeah, because it was right after that when just Minotaur once again catches on fire, and he remains that way for the entire rest of the fight.
Well, this is the thing. It's a bit of a delayed reaction as well, because it doesn't immediately burst into flames. So after 10 seconds, smoke starts emitting from Minotaur, and boom, it just goes up in an absolute inferno.
Exactly.
But absolute credit, when that happened, Minotaur actually seemed to get stronger for a minute. As it was the last gasp for air.
Yeah, it got the fucking Zenkai boost.
It came back absolutely ferociously and landed some massive, massive hits against Sawblaze, including disabling the weapon arm.
Oh yeah,
ripping off its drive belt to run that.
Yeah, if they could have gotten them onto their back at that point, they would have won the fight. But Sawblaze,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Sawblaze is too good. Sawblaze managed to keep bouncing right back over, getting it back into position to be plowed into the screws, and yeah, from there, like, Minotaur just died.
Yeah, against the lesser driver than Jameson Go, I fully believe that Minotaur could have mounted a comeback in this instance, and it very nearly did. But Jameson has the best adapted bot to be able to fight Minotaur with its massive dustpan to be able to corral it into the right place and land the precision shots needed to take out something as tough as Minotaur. Because we've seen Minotaur can weather the storm against damn near anything. Not even Cobalt was able to disable it. But it finally gutted out and died against Sawblaze in this fight. And yeah, it was an incredible fight. One of the best we've ever seen, a true 10 out of 10 fight to kick off the show.
Absolutely, and it's just going to get better from here, because this is an old-timer episode. Starting off with an old-timer fight.
Absolutely. Definitely. A very emotional display for both teams as well. Daniel Freitas a lot more controlled than he was last year. He actually took the loss fairly well, all things considered, after the initial come down and everything.
Well, yeah, like, because he lost, like, with the loss last year, like, it was sort of an iffy loss, but like, this is like a straight up, he lost. Like, he lost straight up. There's no questions about it. It's not a loss to be mad at.
Yeah, I mean, he put up an absolutely fantastic fight, and he very nearly managed to pull off an improbable comeback as well. But it just wasn't to be, and Sawblaze goes blazing on into the semi-finals.
Oh, hell yeah. That is going on to cause even more fires.
Yeah, great post-fight interview as well. Great sportsmanship displayed by both, and it's just one of those fights that makes you feel good to be a Robot Combat fan.
Yeah, like, this honestly would be like a good like fight to show to a first-time viewer.
Oh, definitely. I would absolutely pick this one to show to a new viewer if I wanted to help get them into it. This whole episode is one I would show to them as well, really. But like, they miss out on so much context for why this episode is so great.
I mean, true. I
like,
mean,
standalone, it's still it's still practically a perfect episode on its own as a standalone. But if you know the context for all of this, it makes it even better.
Honestly, would you show this entire season to like a new viewer, or like would you start them off like, I guess, with a slightly weaker but still good season?
Oh, definitely. I would certainly like pick this season to introduce them to it. It like from start to finish, this season was practically perfect. Just you know, like with one or two small exceptions and one, you know, glaring elephant in the room. But we'll come to that. We'll come to that.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to our thoughts on the entire season, like, at the end of this fucking of the end of the episode. But yeah, up next, Witch Doctor versus Huge.
Well, before we cover that, actually, we do have to address the Riptide drama. Ethan Kurtz ended up testing positive for COVID, which required an alternate driver to step in, because none of the rest of his team tested positive but him.
That's interesting.
Yeah, ours is not the reason why in this situation. The fact of the matter is he tested positive and they needed an alternate driver. And ultimately, they were able to find one in their team member, Felix Jing, who is a Vex Robotics Championship winning driver. This would be his first time driving Riptide, but we'll come to that later.
Yep.
And yeah, there'll be a lot to talk about when that happens.
Very interesting. Very interesting developments. And a very interesting fight right here with Witch Doctor versus Huge.
Yep. I saw the Witch Doctor, then ripped open its chest. Boom, 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 boom.
It was an eye for an eye and a rib for a rib.
Oh, yes. Huge instantly coming out of its box and... Oh, right, okay, so Witch Doctor coming out to box rush them immediately ended up not going well because the very first hit was weapon on weapon in just the right way for Huge to snipe Witch Doctor's weapon belt right out of the gate. That was insane, and from there, it was all Huge.
It was. Yeah, Huge absolutely beat the shit out of Witch Doctor here. They ripped their ribs off.
Yeah, they absolutely tore open its chest cage and just massive hits, all fight to comfortably cruise to a unanimous decision victory. It's a credit to Witch Doctor for going the distance, but it's easily Huge's fight. And Jonathan Schultz, oh man, seeing him so emotional after that victory, because Witch Doctor was an absolute nightmare opponent for many, many robots, but luckily Huge was just the right type of crazy to be able to fight it.
Yeah, it was the right type of robot, and it hit it at the exact right time. It was like the perfect storm.
Yeah, I feel like Witch Doctor, they did say that they were going to be planning to target the wheels on Huge, but, you know, that instant sniping of their weapon belt just completely took the wind out of their sails, and by that point, there was nothing else they could do to Huge.
Basically,
like, they did push it about a bit, but there wasn't really anything they could do.
Literally, all they could do was, like, hope that, like, Huge's weapon, like, disintegrates.
Yeah, it was literally just a matter of them trying to break Huge's weapon with their face at that point. And credit to Witch Doctor for surviving all the way to a judge's decision, but there was no question that this was Huge's fight. And Huge, once again, continues to demonstrate just how perfect the counter it is to the current meta.
Yeah, it is the perfect robot right now. But could it be even more perfect? We'll find out.
Oh, yes, we shall see. Up next, another big rematch, Ribot versus Hydra.
Oh,
a different
yes.
story this time, however, both in seedings and outcome. Ribot coming in as the significantly lower seed to Hydra, unlike last year. But this time, Ribot gets vengeance again!
Oh, yes. Look, it's the power of the Lineal Championship, Jack. It gave Ribot the boost it needed to fucking have a cool staring contest with Hydra, and then win. It made Hydra blink, Jack! It made Hydra blink!
You know what? I've just realized something, and we'll cover this in Ribot's next fight after this, because, like, cards on the table. Ribot won this fight quite handily. It was actually a very interesting fight. A lot of people thought that it was slow going, but it was like watching a chess match between the two as we waited for one of them to make the first driving mistake.
Yeah.
Like, they were both fighting very conservatively in this one, knowing how dangerous the other one is and how one mistake was all that it would take for everything to go up and over. But ultimately, it's Hydra that makes the driving mistake first. Ribot manages to get a hit in on their side, damage its drive, and immediately goes to town on Hydra from there, immobilizing it with hit after hit, and pulling off a very convincing win to avenge one of Ribot's most frustrating losses when it was counted out last year, despite technically still being mobile because of the rules at the time not permitting crab walking.
Yeah, like this was a very cathartic match, and you know I'm very happy that Ribot managed to pull it off, because this comeback that they've been having this like tournament is fucking wild.
Yeah, absolutely surgical performance from them right here. They found their opportunity and they immediately ripped that window wide open.
Yeah.
And that was exactly what they needed to do against a robot like Hydra as well. Because if you give Jake Ewart an inch, he will fucking take a mile from you.
Oh, absolutely.
Or send you flying a mile. he'll make you join the Mile High Club.
Hey!
And I can probably fit a bad dragon joke in there somewhere. I can't be bothered right now.
How high can a frog jump? Oh, actually, no. Oh, no, even better. It's like, it's too late for a raining frog joke.
Have you seen the meme about the frog that goes to the gym and does nothing but heavy squats?
No,
I jumped to the stars.
No, I have not.
I'll send you that to like include in the episode.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And yeah, it just says one day I jumped to the stars. One day I jumped to the stars, and you know, ultimately does so. And that was Ribot this year.
Yeah, honestly, basically, yeah. Yeah, because
they went. Yeah, they went all the way to the semi-finals in this case.
That's
before
incredible.
Running into Sawblaze, but we'll come to that in a little bit.
Yeah, like it's incredible. Like, I feel like I don't want to say like jinx them with this, but like I feel like next season they could have a massive fucking showing. Oh, here we go. Let me have a look at this meme. Oh, look at that frog. Look at that frog go. Look at his legs. Look at that iFunny logo. Oh, that's incredible. That frog is going to become a Joe star.
And Ribot as well. What would Ribot's stand be?
That's a good question. That's actually very good. Actually,
In any case, great performance by Ribbot here. A great chess match between two of the best machines still in the tournament. And Ribbot goes marching all the way on to the semi-finals. And just masterful showing from both teams.
Absolutely.
Very happy to see.
We will see you next season, Hydra.
And it's pretty appropriate that the lineal champion Ribbot ends up facing Sawblaze next.
Oh, yeah,
But
true.
We'll come to
true.
that. We'll come to that in due time.
Very true. And up next, it's the match we've all been hoping for. Well, actually, probably not hoping for.
Oh, yes, the match we've... Oh, yes, definitely all been hoping for. It went exactly as we hoped it would.
Oh, yeah, I mean, well, yeah, in that sense, yeah.
Riptide. Riptide versus Copperhead. Well, Mac, Riptide? More like Rip Bozo.
Oh, hell yeah, Packbot, baby. Riptide, they're finally fucking dead. It took this long, but we're finally dead. We're finally free from it. The evil is defeated.
Yep. The Force has awakened, and... Oh, I don't even know why I said that. Anyway, right, yeah,
Oh,
Copperhead finally proving itself. Copperhead finally proving itself to be the Riptide Slayer in this case. A lot of people there has been like some people questioning the legitimacy of the win, like what would have happened if Ethan had been there to drive, but honestly, I don't think it would have made that much of a difference. The fact of the matter is, Copperhead came in, put on a fantastic showing against Riptide. Felix Jing, a very game pilot for Riptide in this case, despite having no prior experience with the machine. An early slip aside during the initial box rush, Riptide actually started out much stronger than Copperhead, landing monstrous shots and putting Copperhead in serious danger, including a massive hit right into the side of the box. But that hit came at a price, as Riptide's Egg Beater ended up splitting in two. Much like what happened to Glitch's Egg Beater earlier in the season.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of appropriate when you remember that they were the co-rookies of the year. And
Oh my god.
Riptide took great umbrage to that.
Oh my god. Like, they're just conjoined. Like a ghost.
Conjoined like a ghost.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, fucking supernatural shit. Like a twin. You know, like how fucking twins can, like, sort of be psychic with each other. It's
right.
like that. It's like that.
Okay. Okay, in any case, the Egg Beater splits in half and dies, and it's Copperhead's fight to win moving forward. And Luke Quintal immediately capitalized on this. Copperhead wrecking the inverted scheme on Riptide and landing major shots, turning it up and over, causing major damage to it, ripping pieces of armor off, and yeah, firmly in control up until it finally loses a wheel from earlier in the damage in the last 30 to 40 seconds of the fight, but still manages to land some hits during that time while crab walking. Riptide does come back at that point and manages to pin Copperhead over against the wall, but that was all they could really do at this point, was try to pin Copperhead until the fight ended.
Yep.
For a tight judge's decision to come about. Now, Copperhead's weapon was still working, but it had lost a wheel. The Riptide team would ultimately end up arguing that this was a far greater piece of damage than losing their weapon, but that comes in a little bit. Copperhead ultimately wins a split decision here, and here is where it gets spicy.
Ooh.
Now, apparently, the interview shown was actually from the halfway point of when it was actually conducted, as the rest of it was unusable. Ethan apparently had a multi-minute rant about adversity and how he would have won the fight had he been driving Riptide, to the point where Chris actually had to cut him off. And the Riptide team was apparently claiming to have totally dominated that fight, and that they should have gotten 3-0 on control, and that loss of drive was way more important than loss of weapon, and that they would appeal. Due to the proximity with the Ethan rant, and, you know, the fact that this makes Riptide look like incredibly poor sports, that's probably why all of this was cut. The casualty of this was also that Felix actually had a brief moment in the interview where he got interviewed, and he seemed to acknowledge that they had lost. That was also probably why it was cut, because it it contradicted what the rest of the Riptide team themselves would say. It's a shame, really, because he was apparently quite humble, accepted defeat in this case, and I would love to see more of Felix in the future.
Oh yeah, like
myself.
I would honestly like to see him as like the main driver for Riptide, because like I know Ethan's like good at what he does, like outside of the personality stuff, but like I'll say Felix is like he's more level-headed than like Ethan, and also I doubt he's gonna swear, so I would prefer that.
Okay, so there were reports. Were reports that one of the members of Team Riptide did their best to help repair Captain Shredderator after Riptide completely wrote it off.
I believe so, yeah.
And apparently the rest of the team were making fun of the Captain Shredderator team backstage.
Right.
Apparently the team member from Team Riptide who went over to help the Captain Shredderator team was Felix, from what I've heard.
Oh, okay. Because I think.
So in other words,
yeah. Sorry. Yep.
He's the token good teammate in this case.
He's like, oh god, he's the actual one good person. Like,
yeah. Compared to everyone else's loud, arrogant frat boy image, Felix
insane.
is apparently the good guy on the team.
That's insane. That's absolutely insane. Oh man, I hate this team so much. But at least if there's one good person on it, so you know what? Yeah.
My honest hope is that Ethan, Stan, and Sid are no longer part of the team in the future, and that Felix ends up becoming the captain if Riptide ever comes back. But that's slim hope, to be honest.
I mean,
because,
Jack,
it is Ethan's machine, and
yeah, but Jack, look,
it was built using his dad's money, but
yeah, but Jack, they haven't had enough adversity. They need to face more adversity, Jack. How are they meant to make it to WrestleMania if they don't have adversity?
Oh boy.
Adrenaline.
This whole thing about adversity, which was, this whole thing about adversity when it was basically just you have to reweigh your robot a few times because we caught you doing shady stuff.
Yeah. God, Jack, how can you discount that adversity? That is a sheer level of adversity there. I don't know where I'm going with this bit.
Well, you call that adversity, Mac. You know what? You know who really discounted that adversity? The judges, when they went through the appeal and went from a split decision to a unanimous decision in favor of Copperhead.
God, this is actually like in those like early 2000s like kids movies where like after the main villain's like defeated, like he gets humiliated even further. This is that.
Yeah.
This is that, like, all over.
And yeah, and remember what we see at the very end of the episode during the closing montage. That moment where everybody in the pit starts cheering about Copperhead. That's apparently from when the appeal failed.
Yeah.
So was cheering the fact that Riptide's appeal failed.
Oh hell yeah! Yeah, no wonder he was fucking going wild.
Yeah. With Copperhead coming back to the pits to a massive standing ovation as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And at last, Riptide lies defeated. And it was glorious.
Rest in piss, Riptide.
Rest in piss, you won't be missed. Ha ha ha. Ha ha.
I mean the robot will be missed. Like the robot's good. The robot did nothing wrong.
Yeah, and I do feel bad for Felix for being in this situation as well. I hope we see more of him in the future.
Hopefully. Look, Robot and Felix, you did well. The rest of the team, next match. What is the next match actually? It is
Robot versus Sawblade.
There we go.
For both the lineal championship and a place in the final for the official championship.
Oh hell yeah! This match started off with a giant swing.
Yep, just an early spin that was very memeable. You spin me right round, baby, etc. Yep. But then, bam! Hammer straight to the brain of Ribbot by Sawblaze, and oh man, Rebot starts going up in flames, loses its weapon. It emits so much smoke and flame, but still survives to the judge's decision. Much like in its fight with Black Dragon years ago, but this time the rubber band is on the other claw.
Ribot is a tough motherfucker. He survived that fight in that state, and fucking hell. It is Ribot is tougher than Ribot is tougher than Minotaur confirmed.
But yes, a massive showing from Ribot here. It wasn't a close fight. Sawblaze handily won this fight, but massive credit to Ribot for going all the way to a judge's decision.
Oh yeah,
in that kind of condition.
Absolutely, like they have nothing to be ashamed of. Like coming this far, losing to a robot as good as Sawblaze, like they did incredible.
Yeah, definitely. A great fight just another great fight as part of a great episode. And Sawblaze goes marching on into the finals. Well deserved.
Very well deserved. This is a long time coming.
And with that, claiming the lineal championship as well.
Oh, hell yeah! So, good work, Sawblaze. Now, can you claim the full title, I guess? Well, we already know like what happens, but yeah.
And up next, Huge versus Copperhead. And thank you so much for everything this season, Copperhead. You've been an absolute delight in every single fight. You've slayed giants, but unfortunately, this giant was a little too tall for you, and Jonathan Schultz will not be denied at this stage of the game.
Indeed.
Monster hits and surgical blows by Huge end up taking out Copperhead's drive and doing what no other machine was able to do, breaking the weapon system as well.
Yeah, like it went up in smoke. Like it was incredible.
Yeah, Copperhead has come so far this year, but Huge really is just the perfect hard counter for your 2 to 4 wheel drive vertical spinners.
Yeah, and this is why they need to start fucking coming with guns or swords. Like I said, like, they need to change the meta to swords. Sword. Did I say? Yeah.
I feel like we're definitely going to see a bunch of anti-Huge robots next season.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, there's no doubt that like people are gonna be trying to come up with like new and creative things to like counter Huge with.
Oh yeah. Copperhead came so far this year. They put on such a fantastic performance. They've beaten monstrous robots. They slayed Riptide. But Jonathan Schultz and Huge would not be denied. They had something to prove this year. And it was an insane KO with a great handstand by Huge to celebrate as well.
Oh, hell yeah. Like, they did a spinneroonie.
And as Jonathan Schultz, just a little Huge in the big city doing its best.
Oh, hell yeah. Like, and it's made it to the biggest city of all. It's made it to the finals.
Yep. And as Jonathan actually says in an interview as well, no matter what happens next, he's won either way. Huge will be either a runner-up or a champion forever. Nobody will ever be able to take that away from the robot. And considering that, as is alluded to, Jonathan was very strongly considering retiring Huge after its last few seasons, where, they kept getting unfavorable draws and they didn't have a great record. But this year, they just came back with an absolute vengeance, going undefeated for 8 straight fights before finally reaching the finals.
Yeah, like, it is one of the biggest comeback stories, like, of any, like, season of robot fighting.
I'd argue it's the biggest comeback story, to be quite honest. I mean, the only other one would be Sawblaze, and Sawblaze did not go undefeated in the run-up to the tournament.
I honestly wouldn't even call, like, Sawblaze, like, a comeback, because, like, Sawblaze has always been good. Okay, then again, Hughes has technically always also been good, too. It's just, like, it's had bad luck in the actual tournaments.
Yeah, bad luck and bad draws, never getting drawn against the type of machines it's actually designed to fight.
Exactly, yeah. But it made it this far.
And now we see what happens when it does get them.
Exactly! Exactly! And it's a fucking monster.
Absolutely. With that, we get a tremendous video package highlighting the meta of the last few years and how this has finally been broken by both Sawblaze and Huge. The first time that we've had a final in years that isn't full of four-wheel drive vertical spinners. And I'm going to say this right now. This is the best final that we've ever seen in the BattleBots heavyweight tournaments.
This is the best final. This is the best tournament. This is the best season. It's just, this is peak fucking robot fighting. This is the zenith of the sport.
Like the other best finals that we've ever seen was Bite Force versus Minotaur, and that's a distant second in this case.
Yeah, like they went all out for this. Jameson Go made a new fucking configuration for Sawblaze in order to fight Huge here.
Oh yes. The hype has never been higher, and it was a genius move tactically by Jameson Go to arrange to have one of Sawblaze's plows inverted in order to catch Huge's weapon like a baseball mitt, like it was either what Kenny or Chris said.
Yeah.
To allow them to catch them for long enough to be able to snipe one of the weapon belts, which we see in the actual fight. Because when we see the fight opening up, Huge is landing monstrous shots right out of the gate, causing massive damage. And it definitely looks right from the start like this is Huge's fight to win.
Yeah, because like the configuration that
we see incredible hits, including one that sends Sawblaze flying right up over Huge and landing on top of Huge.
Oh yeah, true. Oh god, that was incredible. Because yeah, like Sawblaze is like this configuration. It's brilliant, but at the same time, it's like a double-edged sword because it pretty much gave Huge the perfect like thing to like latch onto for hits.
Yeah, it was definitely a high-risk, high-reward situation, especially when paired with the eyelashes that they fitted. But it all ultimately worked out very well for them because eventually they were able to get Huge into the corner and snipe one of the weapon belts, reducing the weapon power by half. And credit to Huge, it still stayed very, very strong for the rest of the fight and managed to actually finish breaking the cradle on Sawblaze as well.
Yeah, but at that point...
ultimately, Jameson goes... Yeah. Unfortunate, and it's unfortunate for Huge because, as was said, before the belts got sniped, it was winning that fight, and it still put up a great fight for the rest of the fight. But at half power on the weapon, there was only so much that Jonathan Schultz could do against Jameson Go's Sawblaze. Great control and aggression from both teams, giving one of the best fights of the season and handily the best championship bout that we have ever seen. It goes to a judges where they personally enter the arena to inspect the damage on both machines. And it's very rare that we see that at this point as well.
Yeah, I'll say, like, it makes the most sense in, like, this sort of environment because you need to make sure that, like, you have everything right. You can't fucking half-ass the winner of the tournament.
I feel like this ultimately came down to damage between the two because control and aggression was... Okay, so I would say control was just barely Sawblaze, aggression was just barely Huge, and I feel like damage between the two was very even. But I feel like Sawblaze ultimately was not having issues with its drive, even if the cradle had been split in half by Huge's blows by the end. By the end of the fight, some big hits that Sawblaze had landed seemed to disable half of Huge's drive in the final seconds, as seen when, Sawblaze was able to return to its box. Huge was not. Huge could only go in circles. And I feel like that was what ultimately caused the judge's decision to go the way that it did. Because, drumroll, Sawblaze is our new champion.
They did it. They finally did it. After so long, they finally made it.
The boyhood dream. The boyhood dream has literally come true.
The literal boyhood dream. Like, he's been wanting to do this since he was a young man.
It would have applied to both of them, actually, because Jonathan Schultz started watching Battlebots when he was 6.
Oh, really? Yeah,
it would have been the case for either of them. Yeah, it's pointed out in the episode. It was a very well-deserved win, very, very close as well, and credit to Jonathan for not appealing and taking the loss like a champ. Like he said, Huge would be a winner or a runner-up forever, and there was no shame in this loss. I actually really enjoyed the way that he put it as well. The only appeal would have been if we had won. I think it was the right decision. I would not make them go through that.
What an absolute fucking class act he is.
Absolutely. Jonathan Schultz really just stepped up this season with huge, proved all of the doubters wrong, and he gets to go out with his head held high, knowing that his machine was every bit as was finally able to live up to its potential, and that he and the rest of Team Huge, they've got nothing to be ashamed of. They are my hat off to them. I love these guys.
Like, you guys have been super entertaining this entire season, and while it's unfortunate you did not win, like, the fact that you made it this far is simply incredible. Congratulations.
And more than that, dude, consider their strength of schedule as well. They
Oh,
beat an
true.
absolute murderer's row of robots too.
Absolutely. Like, they earned this spot here, like, and then some. Like, if they won this tournament, they would have. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, like consider who they beat in the qualifiers, then consider who they had to run through in the tournament itself. They had to beat Scorpios. They absolutely crushed Scorpios. They had to beat Mad Catter. Mad Catter was the first robot to give it a bloody nose, but it was still a decisive win for Huge. They crushed Witch Doctor, and then they splattered Copperhead as well.
Exactly.
That's an insane strength of schedule there.
Like, literally any of those could have been finals in any other season.
Yeah. And they still nearly came through and won this fight as well. Like, it was the right call, but it was very close. And
Exactly.
it was the right call, and ultimately, yeah, I feel like every time Stallblaze wins this decision, no matter how many times you look at it, but it was incredibly close. And if they hadn't sniped the weapon belt when they did, I think we were on our way to a huge KO.
Yeah,
and even then, Huge still nearly managed to snipe the hammer saw at half strength as well.
That's true, actually, yeah.
But they just barely missed. I think if the weapon had been spinning at full power at that moment, it would have been fast enough to hit the hammer saw rather than just barely miss it.
Yeah, it's like one of those what if things. Like, it was so razor thin. Like, it could have, anything could have happened in that fight, and like the outcome would have changed like dramatically.
Definitely, just another reason to love this sport so much. But yeah,
exactly.
10 out of 10 ending to a 10 out of 10 season as we finally get to see Jameson Go and the Sawblaze team hoist the giant nut.
Very well earned. Like, they have been grinding for so long, and for them to finally be validated with the golden, like with the giant nut, like you absolutely love to see it.
Now, this is the thing that we need to remember here. Sawblaze debuted all the way back in the ABC Season 2. And this was at a time when it had that really janky damage is the only thing that matters rule. And because its weapon wasn't working properly in that fight, it went out in round 1 and was restricted to recaps. So we didn't even get to see its debut fight all the way back in ABC Season. Since then, Sawblaze has gotten stronger and stronger with every season. And now, 5 years later, it is the reigning champion. It's awesome to see.
It is the meta. It is the brand new meta.
They worked so hard for so long, and they pulled it off. And congrats to them.
You absolutely well earned, like, and like also the fact that like there's just a super like a really entertaining team. Like, they just tick all the boxes.
Absolutely. Definitely. Sawblaze is a hell of a machine with a hell of a team. Its fights are always fun to watch. They're never boring. And yeah, they came, they saw, they blazed their way all the way to the title. So give it up for Sawblaze.
Have you seen the image of of Jameson with the nut on his arm?
No,
okay.
Yes, I think I did see that earlier.
Okay, good. Because it's the image for like the best driver award. And speaking of the awards, let us get right to them.
Yes. Let us kick it off with the best driver award for the night. It's got to be none other than Jameson Go, who put on a masterful display in every single fight that he had this fight. Outdriving arguably the best driver in the world, Daniel Freitas, in the opening fight, and then outdriving David Jing, and finally managing to be the only machine that was able to hard counter Huge this entire season.
Yeah,
a testament to the absolute precision that Jameson Go operates with.
Yeah, like he is he is quite literally at the top of his game because he is the champion. So, like, very well
Both
earned.
lineal and official.
Yeah, exactly. Like he has merged the titles, like for the time being, anyway. Until like champions probably. We'll see. We'll see what fuckery happens there.
He is the undisputed champion of the world right now.
He's the Uwu champion.
Wow. You heard it here first, folks. The Uwu champion. Surely that would have been Overhaul.
I mean, look, they can try to win the title, like the Uwu title, in fucking in champions, or at least the lineal title.
Okay, so knockout of the night. Who did we have, Mac? It was Soulblaze versus Minotaur with an honorable mention to Huge Copperhead, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Excellent.
Yeah, Soulblaze
brilliant
versus
knockout.
Minotaur. Magnificent knockout. Lots of drama in Soulblaze versus Minotaur, and for brutality, Huge absolutely busted Copperhead's ass wide open as well, with ripping off the chains, breaking its weapon. But ultimately, of the two, the more memorable KO would have to be Soulblaze versus Minotaur. But this is a 1A and 1B situation.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, both of these KOs were like absolutely nuts.
Definitely. And our Spike Dudley Award for Underdog Performance of the Night goes to Copperhead for being the robot to finally slay Riptide. We did believe in Copperhead going in that it could do so, but, you know, it was like a head says Riptide, heart says Copperhead situation.
Oh.
And yeah, they did what nobody else this season has been able to do and decisively defeat Riptide.
Exactly, like it was nuts. I never know what to say. Like it was just nuts. Simple as that. Best loser.
It was glorious. That's what it was.
Exactly. Best loser. Obviously, Huge in the finals.
Yep, Huge came within a gnat's wing of winning that fight, and just a little Huge in the big city doing its best. Yeah, you do get another trophy. You do get one trophy to take home with you, even if it isn't the giant nut. You had the best performance in a losing effort, and you just barely fell shy of winning the crown. So congratulations to Jonathan Schultz and Team Huge.
You can trade this trophy in for $5 in Robux.
Or you can trade it in for a free Frogurt. Frogurt is also cursed.
Oh no, that's bad.
But you get your choice of topping.
Oh, that's good.
The toppings contain potassium benzoate. That's bad.
No. And finally,
but yes,
the fight of the night.
Yeah, we double up on the awards here for Huge as they take home the Fight of the Night trophy alongside Soulblaze for the best finals that we have ever seen in Battlebots. Absolutely magnificent final fight, 10 out of 10. Handily wins the Fight of the Night award here tonight. So congratulations to both teams here for a magnificent showing in a magnificent season.
Absolutely, like that was one of the best endings to anything like any robot fighting I've ever seen. Or any tournament,
Absolutely.
really.
100%. Yes.
Yeah, there we go.
All right.
We will have the other awards next season. Technically next season. Well, not next season, but you know what I mean. Like after the Golden Bolt.
Yes, we're going to wait for the Golden Bolt before we give out the awards for the season, like most destructive, best overall driver, most improved, things of that nature, because we still have to see how the Golden Bolt goes as well.
Exactly.
I do wonder how some of the machines that got bounced in outside of the top 8 will perform in the actual Golden Bolt itself. Because as we know, Soulblaze will be able to compete because it's the reigning champion, so it's automatically guaranteed a spot.
True.
But as for the other machines, I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see how it goes. Maybe Mad Catter will make a deep run. Maybe Claw Viper will make a deep run. I would love to see Claw Viper make a deep run in that.
Is Ripperoni confirmed for that yet?
Ripperoni should be competing in that,
Okay.
but I don't know for certain just yet.
Well, I mean, like the last Golden Bowl was like spectacular. So I have to imagine like this one's gonna be just as brilliant. Although it makes
I
me
very much hope so.
It makes me wonder how like they're gonna deal with it, because like last time it was like, oh yeah, here are like the champions, and like they've made it in like we're doing like six extra matches to decide who's fucking gonna be in. And it's like, how's they gonna work this time?
I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I don't know when it airs, but I'm very, very much looking forward to it. And we hope that you enjoy hearing us talk about it on the upcoming Mac and Jack Miracle Violence Connection.
Yes, that we already know what we're gonna call it for once. It's not a robot pun.
Yes.
It's a wrestling fucking stable name even.
Yep, the Miracle Violence Connection. Dr. Death, Steve Williams, and Terry Bam Bam Gordy, for those who don't know.
Oh, hell yeah.
But let's be real. Miracle Violence Connection is just a boss name anyway.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, there's a reason why I'm okay with being, like, the name of our next season. Next season of this fucking shit-ass podcast.
Well, you know, people have got to have something to tide them over until the next show, and we're, like, number 10 on the list.
Number 10? Look, out of what? Fucking negative 29?
Well, I mean, there's the RoboCast, and yeah, there's some other shows. But, you know, we're the slowest growing Battlebots podcast for a reason.
We accidentally burying the competition. Oh hell yeah, that's how we fucking do it. We go. I want to go after fucking Deadlock Pro Wrestling next. DP Dub.
I mean, you know, like, even that, we're still, like, 9 spots behind, and I don't know that there are even 9 other shows.
Yeah, I mean, wait,
so.
there's at least one, like, probably at least 2. Like, if you have a Battlebots podcast, please yell at us so we can beef. We want to beef with someone. we want that premium fucking risotto, I guess. I don't know what you make beef with. Make with beef, brother. It's like, how do you make beef?
I guess this is where we segue into our off-topic segment of the week, if we have one.
Yes. Okay, so last week I was playing Breath of the Wild. I finished Breath of the Wild, and now I'm playing Tears of the Kingdom.
Yes. How's it going with that?
Honestly, yeah, dude, it is incredible. Like, it is so fun. Like, I need to take a drink after that fucking last bit for a second. Hang on a second. Okay, okay, so Tears of the Kingdom, yeah, it is insane. Like, cause it's basically the same-ish map as Breath of the Wild, but like there are differences, and like there's like new like different areas you can go. Like it's bigger. It's just bigger in general. It's like extremely fun. Like the fusing, like the whole fusing and like fusing mechanic, and like making I guess making vehicles like stuff is like super fun. Like, it's hard to explain, because I don't know, I'm not that far into it, but it's just an absolute delight to, like, just sort of fuck around in it, you know?
Fair enough.
Yeah, like, it's just, I like wasting my time, like, just wandering around, looking at the areas, seeing what's changed and all that. Like, it's super good, it's super fun, like, I highly recommend it.
Oh, fair enough. I'm looking forward to playing it at some point in the future after I've played Breath of the Wild.
Right, yeah. Yeah, oh sorry, yeah, ending of Breath of the Wild, I liked it very much. It was a big thumbs up for me.
Excellent. Well, glad to hear it.
Yeah.
That's going to be something to really look forward to.
Oh, hell yeah. Do we have anything else?
No, I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
With that, we come to the end of our season as we now wait for the postseason to begin with the Golden Bolt and the beginning of the Miracle Violence connection. So, until next time, everybody, it's been an absolute pleasure getting to record our shit-ass podcast for you. And I hope you've gotten some small amusement.
That's officially the qualifying term for this podcast, the shit-ass podcast. God, like...
yeah, until next time. Until next time, everybody, I guess. Unless, Mac, do you have anything you want to sign up with?
Thank you all for listening to us attempt to be humans.
Well said. Until next time, everybody, he's Mac, I'm Jack. Take care. We'll see you at the Golden Bolt.
See you later. Bye-bye.
So long, Space Cowboy.
Oh, God. Bye.